everyone, welcome back to the Malbeefance channel, and this is episode 15 of our series replay for Strategic Command World at War, War in the Pacific. If you've been following along, you know that the Allies are starting to take the offensive slowly but surely. They are starting to push back in the various theaters, and I've even managed to figure out how to get the Soviets into the war. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and advance the turn and see what we get. I'm going to try and do a little bit longer video this time around to make up for last video, which was pretty short. All right, Soviet invasion of Manchuria strikes fear in the Japanese army. And UK production technology development makes a breakthrough, so they are now at production technology level 1. And Chinese production technology is up to 84%. There is our ledger for the up and coming turn. Jumping back to the Japanese army being afraid of the Soviet, that is going back to a border incident that occurred between the Soviet Union and the Japanese earlier on, where General Zhukov really just handed the Japanese their hats. And it kind of put a bug in the back of Japanese high command's brains that they're not ready to take on the Russians. Now, also, obviously, the fact that we now have a much larger front that they have to deal with their limited resources, yes, that also has a lot to do with it. But historically, there was some precedent to the Japanese army being concerned about being at war with Russia, despite their success at the beginning of the 1900s. All right, so the air war over northern China. And a rapid response from the Imperial Japanese Navy to the Soviet invasion of Manchuria. Now, will we see a reduction in the effort by the Japanese army in northern China due to advances from the Russian army? We'll see how that plays out. All right, anything else? I think that's going to be it for the Japanese this turn. Yep. Okay, so there is Allied forces disrupting Japanese convoys. And now calculating supply for the up and coming turn. There is our military activity summary. All of that convoy interdiction. And American intelligence spots a garrison in Nanjing, as well as maritime bombers in Kwajalein. Super battleship at Yokohama, that'll be the Musashi, I'm guessing, as we have confirmed sinking of the Yamato. I don't know if the computer has decided to build any more of the available super battleships. It is possible, as the Japanese, to go ahead and keep the Shinano as a battleship instead of converting it into a carrier. But I think even if you do that, it's still not going to be available until 1944. So I'm fairly confident that this is the Musashi. All right, so real quickly, I don't have a lot of Russian forces, and holy smokes, look at how much Japanese forces have shown up near Vladivostok that fast. So my original idea was to go ahead and try and focus on having the Communist Chinese, Nationalist Chinese, and the Russians work on putting a lot of pressure on Manchuria because of how valuable that is to the Japanese war economy. But the Russians, I have a feeling they're going to get bogged down pretty quick. So instead, I'm going to go with a suggestion by one of the viewers, and I'm going to try and stabilize the lineup here a little bit better, but then I'm going to try and make a major effort to go ahead and split Japanese forces here. The general idea is to liberate Fuzhou and Hong Kong and basically cut off Japanese forces here. So that way, British forces and subsequent nationalist Chinese forces can start pushing down into Southeast Asia again with Singapore as the ultimate goal. So taking Manchuria and taking back Indonesia are huge to curtailing um, Japanese industry. All right, so let's start the turn over here on the West Coast like normal. So anybody to upgrade? Yep, so we got the heavy cruiser, the Baltimore, and my airships. Now the airships will work good for scouting, maritime patrol, that sort of thing. All right, so Bellewood is able to get underway. And I can move the maritime bombers. Now, where is the best place to deploy them? Probably going to be right here at Nero, I think is probably going to be a good spot. Because, I mean, I'm only going to move the Marines. They're going to move on to something else. All right, so Massachusetts moves up. And that is a garrison. Where am I going to need him? So probably bring him all the way out here to the New Hebrides. So I don't think I need to rush him in. But I also don't want to leave him hanging, so I'll keep him a little bit further south until we're sure we've cleared the Japanese Navy out of here. All right, so that's going to take care of the guys that are transporting over from the West Coast. Do we have anybody that we need to upgrade or can get underway down here? Yes, we do. Finish what upgrades we can. All these guys are on their way back to get upgraded. Reinforcements for the Saratoga, long awaited. About freaking time I got that done. All right, how do we want to do this? Now, obviously, I want to do my air attacks first. So let's get him in close. Now, I don't know if they've moved the anti-aircraft yet, so let's go ahead. Yep. Sorry. I kind of figured they would move the anti-aircraft. That's all right. Okay, so we're going to have to peel the Japanese out of there one unit at a time. It might have done some readiness damage. It's worth it. Now, can I roll that? Yes, I can. Okay, so again, we are not going to advance in New Guinea just yet. I'm going to try this. I hate the fact that I can't land any place where I can just move straight into the city. And I also don't want to leave him sitting out there on the boats. So what do we got here? First tanks. All right, let's be bold. Help with supply going in there. Let's go ahead and get that landing force covered. Do I have anybody? Yes. I do have some folks that can cover carrier. And then let's go ahead and upgrade the rest of these guys. Do I have anybody else waiting? Nope. So these guys still need to move in. They don't need repairs, they only need upgrades, so I don't need to get them back to a major port. Alright, they just got there. Can I move him this? Yes, I can. Oh, damn it, I wanted him to show up over here. Right, hopefully he's not too exposed. Alright, I gotta work my submarines back, if for no other reason because of running out of supply. But I think I can keep him up here just a little bit longer to help cover the invasion of New Britain. And that is primarily what the Dutch sub is also doing, but he's doing double duty. He's also interfering with convoys. But if I got him all the way over here, he's not watching this channel, but hey, I don't want him to get attacked. Oh, excuse me. All right, so all I got to do is upgrade him. Do I have an available port I can rush him over to? Yep. Down there in New Zealand. So that way he can upgrade next turn. And you need to get back here. Fremantle's the closest port where he was at that was available where he could get repaired. All right, so that brings us over here to this operation. Now, can my guys make it? Nope. I want to be able to land both of them at the same time. I want to land them here so they can make use of that road. We know there is a garrison here, so we're going to continue to try and just sneak up. I know I've had the UK forces out there in the boats for a while. Sorry about that. And hopefully next turn we'll be able to land. If nothing else, we'll be able to take the oil fields. We might not be able to get the city, but at least we'll be able to take the oil fields. And in the meantime, let's cause a little disruption. We'll sit right there at the node. All right, so operations in the Indian Ocean are done. Now let's see what we can do out here. I'm not sure if that's a weather or a supply issue going on there. I'm willing to take the risk. All right. That takes care of a mobile unit. Now I'm going to leave him there. And his supply coverage, or his command coverage, is not as extensive as I had hoped. So I'll have to pull them back, assuming these guys don't move up into that hex. But that's all right if they do, because then they're sticking their heads in the noose. All right, now that takes care of that. Yep. Oh, but at least my bombers have escort. Okay. I don't think they're going to get any escort this time, nope. Because flying tigers have been used twice and these guys too far away. That's all right. Oh, he only had the one shot. I thought he would resupply up to 2. Still, though, it worked. Got those guys out of there. Would have been nice to have them stay there so that I could hit them more often, but I will take it. Now I got to swap these guys out. Now the odds are worth it. I know I should have used the bombers first, try and soften things up, but we're going to use them up here. Uh-oh, we got a carrier in Hong Kong. Looks like that wound up being a pretty big air battle. Can he hit a second? Nope. All right, 1 to 4, 1 to 1, 1 to 4. Start there. 0 to 1. And back he goes. Oh, yes. Sweet. Okay, so that's 2 more Japanese land units that are gone. Every little bit helps. He can only... All right. I was hoping I'd be able to get him back up to 10. I only got him up to 8. It's going to have to do. All right, so 1 to 3 here. Hang on, he's a fighter, isn't he? Yes, he is. Now let's try it. Nope. I was kind of hoping I might have been able to get him. He can't get there. Do I want to? Yeah, if nothing else, it forces them to attack. It'll slow down their advance. And you... Yeah, I'm going to have to swing him around. Get him up here, try and fill in that hole. so that covers that flank. And that brings us to the Russians. Those are some really bad odds. We're going to keep the destroyer in port. All right. So let's see if we can take the defensive position. Oh, the Russians are off to a good start. Whoops, did not want to do that. Right now, unfortunately, these guys could wind up getting iced in winter. But right now, they're just liabilities. So I need to get them out of the way. I'll keep the destroyer down here just as a threat on paper. I've got to get more Russian units deployed out here. Obviously. All right, I think that's going to do it for all combat and movement for this turn. Looks like it. All right. So in spite of the quick Japanese response to the incursion from Vladivostok, I'm kind of happy with the turn. I think we've made some pretty good advances, even though I'm kind of bogged down here in New Britain. So let's go ahead and advance a turn, see what we get. All right, UK scientists report long-range aircraft development up 43%. The United States has infantry weapons level 2. Okay, that is really going to turn the tide. The U.S. develops logistics level 3. And Soviet scientists long-range aircraft up to 85%. USSR develops command and control level 1. Awesome. And nationalist Chinese infantry weapons development up to 83%. Australia industrial technology up to 54%. There is the ledger as always. So yeah, with the U.S., just the sheer amount of U.S. forces, and then if I'm able to get them upgraded to level 2 weapons, it's going to have a pretty big effect on offensive operations. Because I mean, I know the Japanese have already got level 2 weapons, so we're going to go back to being on par, and simply because we outnumber them, it's going to wind up helping increase offensive tempo. And moving my submarine didn't help. Still wound up getting attacked. Such are the fortunes of war. Yep, dive to survive. Get out of there, dude. They've got your number, so... Uh-oh, we gonna lose that guy? All right, so major push in Manchuria. Try to push back the Russians, and some pretty intense fighting up there in northern China. And that one Japanese unit is going to try and flank my Vladivostok force. So yeah, so probably having the Russians declare war when they did, and I don't have more forces out there, might not have been such a wise idea. We'll see. Hey, Japanese morale falls as Red Army advances into Manchuria. So there's a benefit. And disruption of convoys. There is an assassination attempt on Jose P. Laurel in the Philippines. That was a historical event. Now, right off the top of my head, I can't remember if Laurel was a Japanese sympathizer or he was on the other side trying to um, peacefully get the Philippines away from Japan. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I do remember that the assassination attempt was a historical event. So there is our military activity summary. And U.S. intelligence spots anti-air. Where was that? Okinawa. What do we got here? Commander-in-Chief. Okay, Nimitz. Production of motor torpedo boats continues, and we have availability. What is this? If you agree, PT 337 will be transported from the U.S. West Coast and arrive. Do we want the PT boat? Yes, we do. Now, I know the PT boats are slow, but the thing is, I can get them into around the islands in Indonesia, and they can cause some trouble. All right, so USSR First Garrison, I know exactly where you need to go, pal. And Naval Aviation Fighters. Hopefully they can cover these guys down here. And the London Heavy Cruiser has arrived. The New Jersey joins the fray. And the Bunker Hill. And the Bunker Hill is fully upgraded. Awesome. All right, so let's get our blimps out into the playing field. Anybody else that needs to head on down to the front? Baltimore on its way. Anybody else? Nope. Okay, now out here in the Pacific, we still have this garrison. And who's that? Massachusetts. I'll have Massachusetts try and back up Iowa for the time being. Let's have a look. It doesn't look like anybody's there. Awesome. Can you make it anywhere over here? Have a look. I mean, I don't plan on taking the islands unless they're abandoned. Then I might go ahead and send somebody over there just to do it. All right. Well, he can't reach very far. But that means I can do this. Yay, team. Way to go, Marines. So, I mean, I don't, historically, Truck Archipelago became insignificant as the island hopping campaign went along. And really, all it wound up being was just a great place for Japanese ships to stop and get shot up. So I don't know if I'm going to take the trouble to go ahead and take the island. Yes, it is a national morale objective, but let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. There's really not a lot of places to land, so it really would be easy for the computer to tie me up there, just like they're doing here in Rabaul. So really what I want to do is I just want to push my way up New Guinea, retake Indonesia and the Philippines, and then go from there. All right, so let's stay focused. Let's go ahead and get back onto all these upgrades and repairs I wanted to get done. See, and this is kind of frustrating for me because sometimes I feel like I spend way too much time just doing upgrades. Like every other turn, I've got some kind of upgrade I got to do. It's not like Strategic Command World War I, where upgrades generally tend to be few and far between. So I'm going to have 4 carriers out there now. Let's go ahead and change him to fighters, because at least there's at least 2 that are on bombers. Yeah, 3. All right. So I'm sure somebody's already made the comment, well, you know, you don't have to do the upgrades. Yeah, you don't have to do them right away, I should say. You don't have to do them right away. And you're right. Okay, so that takes care of that headquarters. I didn't expect him to get a hit. All right. All right, actually, I'm going to save those 2 for next turn, because that way what I can do is I can go ahead, since this is their first turn in the water, so that means that the landing craft haven't attacked. So what I'm going to do is next turn I will have them move up on Rabaul. They will attack from the water, hopefully giving 4th Marines will be able to go ahead and apply the coup de grace, and then we'll go ahead and we'll take Rabaul. And so that would mean that I'm going to leave the ships sitting where they are. But I will bring the Australian destroyer out to help with escort duties for the carriers. Do I have anybody else that needs to move? Nope. Now, can he upgrade? No, he cannot. But I can get elite reinforcements here. I mean, I know I can also use the fighters to go ahead and do some scouting, but I'd rather save them to actually intercept Japanese air power. Now, here we go. So here's the question. Do we shoot for Hollandia? Or do we go for Atepe and try to cut off the force at Leh? Because if I go for Hollandia, they'll see me coming. But they won't possibly not see me coming going for Atepe. And I certainly got to get the Dutch submarine out of here. So now his supply is low, but it's not that low. So let's go ahead and have you interdict convoys. Now I could take the artillery and land them here, and they can assist with the attack on Rabaul, but it's going to take them 2 turns. 1 turn to get them into the boats, and then the next turn to land, and then it'll be another turn before they're able to fire. I may have Rabaul by then, so there's no point in spending the production points to put him on the transports. Unless my plan is to go ahead and bring him over here, which actually might be the better idea. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, I don't have to amphibious transport him for that. I can just use regular transport, and that'll get him over here. Same day. Same thing goes with the tanks, but actually I am going to put the tanks on landing craft because they're going to go help out first tanks on the western side. All right, so I think that's going to about do it over here in the Solomons. All right, so now we're back here. Yeah, I kind of figured I had them on the boats way too long. Ah. All right, so I'll have the carrier stand off to lend air support as long as possible. I'll keep the submarine here in order to force a response. These two guys can continue. Oh, wait, they're low on supplies. He's not. All right, so he'll stay out there interdicting, but he's coming back for supplies. All right, so I've got the cruiser. Still needs another turn before it deploys. And I can't pull him back. All right, so let's do this. Take the opportunity to, no, on second thought, wipe him out. There we go. Can I get him his elite reinforcements? Yes, I can. That'll come as a nasty surprise. Let those guys know they're not going to get around me that easy. Oh, almost got him. Okay, can we wipe out another HQ? Flying Tigers are taking on the Japanese fighters. And yep. Okay, that is a big victory. And I'll have 14th Air Force make their second attack. Oh, we got a defense and air defense unit. But they didn't take any damage. That's awesome. I think I need to get him closer to the front line. Yeah, let's try that. Because I haven't seen them do much. All right, so that puts a big dent. Now we've got a path to cut off South China, Japanese South China forces from Southeast Asian forces. All right. So do I want to use the bombers? Yes, I do. As expected, we're going to have an air battle. Awesome. Oh no. There we go. Need to get another headquarters unit out here. Oh geez, you know what I just realized I didn't do? Last turn I didn't spend any of their resource points. I got 2 turns worth of resource points built up here. I totally spaced on that. Why didn't you guys warn me? Okay, they're done. Let me go ahead and upgrade these guys. Nuts. I got tons of resource points available. All right, well, we're going to use that to go ahead and purchase some more units to get out in the field. I just did that in order to get control of the road. Just in case anybody was wondering. I should have swapped them first. How did I miss that? How did I miss I did not spend any resource points? Yeah, they need some recovery time. All right, well, hopefully that mistake does not come back to bite me too badly. All right, how's his defensive position? Not too great against the core. Anybody coming this way would have to cross the river. All right, so I think that's going to do it for movement and combat. Nope, I got one guy here. All right, one more quick look, make sure I didn't miss anybody. For those of you that do not know, you'll notice that some of the unit symbols are blinking and some of them are not. What that indicates are the blinking units are units that still have movement points available, just in case you didn't already know. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to do some major purchasing. All right, so let's get another British HQ going. They're going to get plenty of Navy. I need to get more ground troops out there. And the United States, what do we got building? So we have some aircraft coming, plenty more ships, reconstituted Marines. All right. So I need some stuff that's actually going to hurt. So my core are good. And now that they've got level 2 weapons, can I get 2 going? Yes, I can. Awesome. Oh, is it going to let me get 3? Yay. That's going to hurt. I probably really don't need to do this, but I am going to order one more. Okay, 2 more. And now the Russians, who are in desperate need. Okay, so mechanized is 250. Army is also 250. The army is slower, but it does more damage. And right now, I think that's really what I need. Oh, can I get? No. I can order the army, I just can't upgrade it. So we'll do that when they deploy. All right, so now the Chinese. Now I know I can go ahead and I can do a whole bunch of smaller units, but they're even in groups, they may not wind up being effective. So I might as well just go ahead and buy the heavy hitters. All right, so they can get their army back. And simply because I need to plug holes, we'll go ahead and bring the garrison back. And now Australia, they've built as many armies as they can build. I'd like to get some more ground troops out there, but at the same time, they're going to need more air cover. So let me go ahead and do that for them. Do that first. And then next turn, we'll go ahead and we'll try and get another corps out there. What do they got coming right now anyway? Okay, so all right, we got the army and the corps are coming. They're going to be coming up next month. All right. So yeah, so the fighters are definitely a good call. All right, so that is all of our production. Whatever's left over, we're just going to bank because it looks like 59 for the UK and 57 for the Communist Chinese. Not going to be able to do much. Excuse me. Not going to be able to do much with that. All right, so let's go ahead and advance the turn, see what we get. All right, it is strongly argued by Joseph Stilwell that we provide more resources to the Chinese to assist them in their fight against Japan. Well, yeah, I agree with that in principle. In order to do so, a proposal has been drawn up for us to provide China with an armored unit. With your approval, this unit will be formed in India and deployed at Delhi under Chinese control in January of 44. Doing so will cost us a whopping 300 production points at 100 a turn. Would you like to equip the Chinese with a tank group? Yeah, I would, because if it's Chinese controlled, then that means Chenault should be able to control it. And that way it'll help out with the Southeast Asia. British Empire develops infantry weapons. Level 2, thank you. And naval construction's up to 96%. Almost made a breakthrough there. U.S. spying and intelligence up to 37% for the next level. Nationalist Chinese long-range aircraft up to 74%. And artillery weapons up to 73%. Australia develops infantry warfare level 1. That helps with their combat capabilities. Overall, not just the weapons, but overall operation, procedure, and everything like that. There is our ledger. All right, so the usual shifting forces around, reinforcement. Are we going to see any offensive operations by the Japanese? More than likely, yes. The question is when. So we got something going on up here in Manchuria, but the map wasn't covering it. We start the air war in northern China. Alright, so the offensive in northern China continues. Oh, we wound up losing that unit. I guess it's only a matter of time. That's 2 down. I mean, it was just a garrison, but punches a hole in my line. I kind of figured that Japanese corps shooting for Kamchatka was going to be pulled back. So yeah, it looks like the Japanese are putting a lot, or the computer, I should say, is putting a lot into this operation right here between the armored unit and the artillery. All right, so there is our disruption of convoys. I got to see what that British submarine is doing, because it's sitting right on that node of all of those supply routes, convoy routes. Okay, so there's our combat losses, those 2 units. And here we go. Here's the military activity. Okay, so Warspit took out 14, but Truant only got 6. And U.S. intelligence spots garrison on Iwo Jima, while Soviet intelligence spots anti-air at Naha in Okinawa. All right, so U.S. first, or USSR First Army. Where can I get them? So it's a toss-up between which one of these two theaters right here is going to need them. I have a feeling I'm going to go this way because as he advances, as Zhukov advances, then Zhukov will pick him up. And we get that communist Chinese garrison back. Okay, so that is it for our reinforcements. So let's get these guys underway. Oh wait, gotta upgrade New Jersey first. All right, anybody else? Yep. Baltimore. You know what? Yeah, just to see. I just wanted to see. So they got a garrison there. That's okay. Now, how far can he get? I don't think that's close enough to spot anybody there, but let's give it a try. Nope. And he only gets one shot at it. So I could actually move him. Let's do that. We'll just keep advancing the front. All right, so before we go ahead and continue with that operation, let me see if there's anything else over here I wanted to do. All right, so he is upgraded, and so is he. So all these guys get to come out. Reinforce him while I've got the chance, while things are a little slow. Start building up my naval force on the eastern side of the Solomons. Whoops, not what I wanted to do. There we go. All right, anybody else in port that needs... All right, so the submarine can come out of there. So what would be the best? Let's go ahead and start putting more pressure on the Indonesian supply lines. Who knows, maybe I'll be able to sucker the remaining Japanese carriers to come on down here into the South China Sea and the Celebes Sea. As you can see, the terrain here is rather tight for ships. So if I can get them down in there, and the U.S. Navy, the Allied Navy is close enough, we may be able to gang up on them and really mess them up. Oh, he's out of supply that fast. All right, let's bring him back. All right, I really don't feel like having the bombers go in there with that air defense unit sitting right there. Oh, he's attacked already, okay. All right, looks like we're going to have to bite the bullet. All right, can we get... Going to make it a chore to get that last point. Let's see if we can get closer. Maybe that'll help. There we go. Alright, so now I can just land him straight there. Sweet. Just pull him out. Alright, let's see if I can get away with this. See if I can get him back close enough where I might be able to upgrade him. Alright, so I think that's going to do it for that area. Let's go ahead and get my submarine out of here. He needs to get back to supplies and needs to upgrade. Alright, now this mess. What do we want to do here? These guys are still pretty decent on supply, so they can still hang out here. Let me have them go ahead and cover the carriers for the moment. Battleships. Have them cover the approaches. Alright, so hopefully next turn we'll mop up New Britain real quick. And then we'll focus on getting New Guinea back. Alright, so moving on. Get that submarine fully repaired. And now have Indomitable's aircraft attack first. Seriously? Huh. Alright. Now, once again, we will leave everybody sitting right where they are. See if we can get a response. He's resupplied, so you can get back out here to help escort Warspite. Warspite. Alright, upgrade where we can. Oh. You guys are going to make this tough on me. No, there's a chance for me to completely wipe him out. Let him know we're keeping an eye on him. Alright, I got to keep an eye on his supply. I don't want to extend too far, but at the same time, I want to threaten so that I can go ahead and get a response. Alright, artillery's out of position. Sorry about that. And nothing more I can do. So we will keep threatening the cutoff here as long as I can. These guys need some reinforcement time. Yeah, I'm going to take the opportunity to go ahead and get these guys back up to strength. So yeah, so we're threatening to cut off land communication here. We'll see what kind of response that generates. Now up here, where we're not doing so well, I'm going to try and hold where I can. Well, that was nice. Thank you. Can he? Yes, he can get in there. All right. Unfortunately, we have this hole here. That might not have been a wise idea, but I don't have a lot of choice in the matter. But we've got reinforcements on the way. And you are hosed. Ouch. Alright. That improves his defensive position behind the river there. By being behind the river. You are going to fall back so that you can reinforce. Alright, so we've got Zitzihar. And we're kind of threatening Harbin. Kind of, sort of. And the Russians are holding their own outside of Mundanjang. I'm not good on the tongue twisters today. Oh, the horses. I forgot about them. All right. No, I really don't have a use for this guy, so I'm going to leave him there, that garrison. So, and then the light tanks. They're light tanks. They are nationalist Chinese light tanks. I don't expect them to be very effective at anything, although because of their mobility, they could do end arounds and cut off supply. But at the same time, in order for me to get that unit, up here, I've got to have somebody there to replace them, at least core strength. So I'm not hurting by not having the Chinese light tanks out there on the front line. At least I don't see it that way. All right, so I think that's going to do it for movement and combat for this turn. Yeah, I remembered to upgrade the submarine. All right. Okay, so that is going to do it for this turn. That is also going to do it for the episode. I went a little bit longer with this one because the last one was so short. And I can't believe I forgot to spend production points. And I'm about to do it again. So let's go ahead and knock that out. I'm going to go back to purchasing. I know I should be maxing out research, but I feel an opportunity here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and get troops in the field now. With the UK, I'd really rather deploy an entire freaking army instead of just a corps. Right now, I need the numbers. Okay, so the United States. Right, have a look what we've got coming. Okay, so we got 3 corps, Marines, couple of garrisons, 1, 2, 3, 4 fighter squadrons. All right, so we're doing good there. Let's go ahead. Do I want the tanks or do I want the mechanized? Actually, neither one. We're going to go for the artillery. That'll give me 2 artillery out in the field. And I can't upgrade their mobility. All right, well, in that case, I mean, I don't absolutely need, but let's go ahead and get it anyway. Because I have a plan for the anti-air. The two Marine Corps anti-air units, I've actually got a plan for them. All right, so now with the Russians, now, honestly, right now, what they just need is numbers. But I'm going to get more artillery out there anyway. I don't have anything for Nationalist Chinese. Oh, I can get a Communist Chinese Corps. I can't do any upgrades, though. That's all right. Just get him in the pipeline. And the Australians do not have enough to do anything but garrisons in anti-air. Do I want to have a second anti-air unit? They're not going to have a big enough army to where I'm going to need a second anti-air unit. So, all right, let's just go ahead and bank it. What do they got coming? Okay, so fighters, maritime bombers, couple of ground troops. Well, that's an army. That's good. That's a corps. They can't field another army, but they can field another corps. So let's go ahead and save up for that. All right, there we go. So that's going to do it. And all right, so you know the drill. If you've made it this far, please drop a like and leave a comment. It helps grow the channel. Still pushing for that 100 subscribers. We're 3 away as of this recording. Trying to figure out what I want to do for like a goofy video for 100 subscribers. Still working on an idea there. Anybody's got any ideas, just go ahead and drop them. I'd love to hear them. And if you haven't already subscribed, yeah, go ahead and do that. It really does help the channel. I know I'm just doing this for fun, but you know, you never know. It just could go somewhere if it takes off. I don't know. I'd have to get I would have to get worlds better at this in order for this to take off. But still, you never know. There are some people that like the raw videos, you know, where you get to see all the mistakes and everything like that. I'm not hiding anything. So, all right. And as usual, you know, somebody that likes this sort of content, go ahead and share it with them. That'd be very much appreciated. And don't forget the notification button. That's a reminder I'm always forgetting to throw out there. All right. Well, thanks again, and I will see you on the next one.